We spoke a lot about workflows and tasks. It's time to have a look at how users, teams, roles work in Zorp. To manage your users and your entire org configuration, so go to settings and you have teams, users, and roles. Let's start with teams. So imagine any org structure. So org structure will have a tree kind of a hierarchy. So where you have one central team, and within below that central team you probably have state level teams, and you have city level teams, and you have like area level teams. That's one way of doing it based on location. You can also do it based on functions. You can do whatever format you actually want. Now that entire hierarchy can be replicated in Zorp. So let's see how to do that. The Zorp platform always comes with a default team called a central team, which is the org level team, which is the like a topmost team. It doesn't report to anybody else. It is where all the leadership actually reside. Now, for example, let's create state level teams. Let's create a couple of others. So one is, I'll say, probably we'll do a country. So we'll say USA, country team, and that reports to your central team. So the next one, we will create India. So India central team, and that also reports to the central team. And let's say within the US, there are two teams. So let's say we will say New York central team. Parent is USA. And we'll do one more, which is California. And this also reports to the US. Great. So now, if you click on team hierarchy, so this is how your team structure actually looks. The beauty of Zorp is that if somebody is in California team, they will see only the tasks and other users within California. They'll not even know that the rest of the org actually exists because they'll not have access to it. The person who belongs to USA team will have access to both New York and California and USA, but they'll not have access to whatever India does or whatever central team does. So that's a structure in which Zorp teams actually work. And you can keep adding unlimited number of teams the way you actually want, and you can get really complex, but pretty much all of them follow this particular structure. But within, let's say, a California team, there could be managers who do a different kind of work. That means they need different kind of access. And you have people like, let's say, workers who do different things. Like workers mostly use the mobile app to do their tasks, and managers typically see the data, use the dashboard, and they add users, remove users, etc. So how do you control who does what within a specific team? So that's where we have something called roles. So by default, you have an admin role and an API role. We recommend people do not touch these two roles because they give central access to pretty much, for specific functions. But you can always create multiple custom roles. So just add a new role, and I will say this is the managers. Say managers of the working team. Create a role. Similarly, I'll add another role, which is what I'll call ground staff. So this is the ground staff team. Ground staff role, sorry. So I have like these four roles. Now I can open any of these roles, and I'll see all the access that they have. So currently the managers have all access to pretty much do everything. Just like an administrator, I can edit and I can add or remove specific access to them. For example, if I don't want the managers to be able to remove users or add users, I just remove those permissions. And similarly, they can't remove or add team. That's something I wouldn't want, but I would want them to edit that existing team members or view team members, etc. Similarly, task is mostly fine. I may not give them access to creating or editing roles. I would give them access to reports. I will not give them access to edit or create workflows. Only view makes sense. Similarly for account information. So this is how I set up permissions for managers. I just hit edit. Now managers will have only those specific access. Similarly, I can go to the ground staff, and the ground staff doesn't need most of these things. I just hit edit. I remove, you can create tasks, because they can create tasks from the mobile phone. They can edit, they cannot delete, they can't create, they need view access, so that their information they should be able to see. So that's also control using view access. Similarly, their team information, they should be able to see whatever is available to them. That's also view access. Role, similarly, alerts they don't need. Control center is basically this dashboard. So if I disable this, they'll not even have access to log into this dashboard. They can only use the mobile app. So that is also possible. They don't need reports. They just need view access for the workflows, and they need view access for the account. So this is how the ground staff's roles actually work. Now, once I've set up these roles, I can create users. Just go to user. When you add a new user, click on add a user. I can provide the name. I can provide the phone number. And I can choose the role. So in this case, let's say the ground staff. The team is, let's say, New York. I can provide the password that I want. I can provide the email. And I have something called an external ID. So this comes in play when you have something like an SDK that is integrated into your platform. For now, you can ignore it, but we will talk more about this in the SDK video. So I hit create user. Now the user gets created with a specific role. You don't have to do anything. The user can log into their account using either the user ID or the phone number or the email address. So they can use any of the login information and the password you have just set to log into their account. And that will work for both the dashboard, and that will also work for the mobile app as long as they have the permissions. So all of those things will be automatically configured. So you can add multiple users with specific teams and others, and it's very, very easy for you to manage going forward. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below the video.